I do not have any information on this incredible contraption in the back. Maybe they can give me some info. Okay, here we go. This is a 1943 hay press owned by Bill Schiller of Ventura Farm. This hay press was used for many years on a large ranch in what is now known as the city of San Fernando. It sat for many years on a homestead in the city of San Fernando.
Wow, it's crazy to see that wheel right now.
Next up is a 1948 BF Avery A owned by Dave Lee, and the driver is Don Rand. This was made in Louisville, Kentucky for use on small tobacco farms in Kentucky and surrounding states. That is a beautiful red tractor. How many of you thought the only tractor out there was a John Deere? All right, right here with the orange umbrella and this beautiful driver is a 1962 Case 530 owned by Sally Newfaro, Camarillo, California. Next up is none other than Farmer Russell from Underwood Family Farms. If your kids have been out here for a tour, Farmer Russell has probably given it to them. This is a 1950 Oliver 77 row crop owned by Russell and his wife Tiffany Blades. It was restored by John Peterson and Walter Latte, and this tractor has been in Tiffany's family since her grandfather purchased it in 1950. Give Russell a hand, come on guys! Farmer Russell, all the way from England. Russell drove this tractor in the 2013 Tournament of Roses Parade on New Year's Day. Here we have one of my favorites, a beautiful 1949 Farmall Farm Cub, owned by Margie Zega of Burbank, California. If you've seen a tractor parade before, you're going to find out that many of these tractors are from Burbank. Isn't that strange? This is a 1949 Farmall C from, guess where? Burbank, California, owned by Ron Butcher. And this tractor was purchased in Clinton, Iowa on June 29th from the family that originally purchased it in 1949. It has an 18 horsepower engine. And here we have a favorite, a 1944 John Deere AW. Let's give it up for John Deere. This is owned by Walt Watte from Oxnard. This is a wartime tractor, which means it was built when there was a shortage of steel. So tractor frames had to be cast in the factory, and the radiator was built without brass in it. Here's a 1949 Earthmaster Model C, owned by Tom Zeta of, guess where? Burbank. This tractor was manufactured in Burbank for only 2 years, 1948 and 1949. This is the youngest member, I believe. Aren't you the youngest member of the Topa Topa Flywheelers? This is Conrad Gramko, and this is 1938 John Deere L, restored by Butch Bolton. This tractor was owned by a local farmer, John Swift. This may be the smallest tractor we have here today. This is a 1952 David Bradley walk-behind, owned and driven by Pat Rady from Malibu. Pat saw one of these tractors all restored at a show and said she really liked it and wanted one. And her wonderful husband Don had so many old tractors on his property, Pat didn't know they already owned one. Don cleaned it up and Pat got her wish. Did she ever let you drive it? No. How was that? Oh, here's a 1957 John Deere 520 narrow front, owned by Tim Thompson of Camarillo. The tractor came from Dillon, Montana in 2008, and Ron Butcher purchased it at a show in Tulare, California from the Montana owner, and then rebuilt this tractor in their backyard in Burbank. It has a 35 horsepower engine, and this tractor is one of the lucky 7 to drive down Colorado Boulevard in the Rose Parade New Year's Day in 2013. Tim Thompson purchased it in October of 1950 from Ron. How cool is this next one? Oh, I'm liking this. This is a 1974 Macy Ferguson Model 135 owned by John and Shirley Barker of Camarillo, formerly from England. Woo! This tractor was purchased new and used on the Barker's farm in England. Not to be left behind, it immigrated to the United States with John and Shirley on July 4th, 2015. And Farmer Russell is their son. And that's Farmer Russell's wife in the back. And Farmer Russell's son. Here's a 1951 Ford 8N owned by Dave Lee from Santa Maria and Somas, California. Dual living arrangements. It was restored by David Dudley, used on an apricot farm in Hollister, California. Do you drive your tractor back and forth between Santa Maria and Somas? No. Long, slow ride. Here's a 1979 Craftsman owned by Bill and Jen Button from Ventura. It's nicknamed the Cricket. Its driver is Rusty Hanson, grandson of Bill and Jan Button, a third-generation member of the Topa Flywheelers. Are you here for the Conrad? This is our newest, youngest member of the Topas. This tractor was completely dismantled and each piece individually painted to match his big John Deere tractor, which Bill Button now owns and runs. Here's a 1948 John. Here's a 1949 Oliver row crop 88 owned by the Wright family from Ventura. Driven by Chuck Wright. Mechanically restored by Topa members John Peterson and Gary Kemper. And this tractor was used by Chuck Wright's great-grandfather in the Salinas area. Here is a 1955 International Lobo owned by Maureen Albrecht from Arcadia. This tractor was used to take lunch to the field, and there are not many of these Lobos around anymore. Maureen drove her tractor down toward by Jim Newford.
1951.
This row crop tractor came from Kansas. The complete restoration was done by Jim Newford, who is a Topa member. Here's a 1947 Farmall Cub owned by Jerry Hill. Farmall Cub is the smallest tractor of the International Harvesters aimed at the needs of the small acreage farmer. This Cub is the 130th one made starting in 1947. The Farmall Cub was made until 1964. Here's a 1948 John Deere GW owned by Arnold Ripple, I'm just getting it right, Camarillo. This tractor was found east of Fresno and restored by the Prairie Company of Camarillo. That is a very loud tractor. How many out there know how to drive a tractor? Anyone know how to drive a tractor? One, two people know how to drive a tractor? Come out and work on the farm. And here is a 1946 John Deere LA owned by Dana and Bonnie Canfield. It was put back together by Dana. Are you Dana? You put that baby back together? Wow. This was a barn find in Simi Valley, brought back to life in 2012. And Dana worked with this tractor since the 1960s. Last but not least is a 1948 Farmall Cub owned by Mike and Jake Borzimer of Simi Valley, California. Oh, not last but not least. Jake's grandfather purchased this new in 1948, and it was continuous use from 1948 through 2006 in the family logging business located in Olympia, Washington. The tractor was retired and moved to Southern California in 2008, and the Borzimers still haven't decided to restore it or not, and they've been talking about restoring it, I think, for the last 7 years. Please make a decision. Now, is this the last one? Last but but not least, the 1959 John Deere Model 430, owned and driven by Jim Rushing, retired from a grape orchard in 2012. And that was our 11:30 Antique Tractor Parade. Join us at 1:30 for the next one. I'm Susanna Underwood. Have a great time on the farm.
Throw that in the trash, buddy.